Thanks for joining us for this week's session for our CLIPItc updates and upgrades webinar. If this is your first time joining us for one of these webinars are designed to be kind of shorter little snippets of what we've changed for CLIPItc over the past few weeks. We did not have one a couple weeks ago since both Dave Sr. and Dave Jr. were both out on vacation. So now they're back and we're going to catch you guys up for changes over the past month. Keep in mind, all of these webinars are recorded. They're put on our YouTube channel. So if you see something you want to take a look at again, or if you want to take a look at our past few webinars, they're all on there. So please feel free, take a look. If you have questions about them, shoot us an email, service@clip.com or sales@clip.com. I'll get you to the right spot either way there. Reminder too, training is always free. So if you want to do some Zoom type of training over something that you've seen, you can schedule that on our website, or you can shoot us an email as well, and we are happy to help. Chat box is monitored, so if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat and we will answer them as soon as we can.
All right, that sounds right. See, the point of the matter is what we're trying to do is CLIPItc is moving every single day, basically, but we issue updates every 2 weeks. If you're on CLIPItc, you'll receive that update automatically. You don't have to think about it or anything. It's not like the old version of Clip where you had to install it and go through index files and all that kind of stuff. The updates are placed up there after they've been tested. We have a team that tests them, and Dave 2, some people call him Dave Jr., but Dave 2, he's the product manager for CLIPItc. And so he's going to guide us through what the team was doing over the past, like you said, Jacob, over the past month. So Dave, you ready for us?
All right, cool. Can you hear me okay, Dave?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Your beard is coming in quite well.
No. I
He's
actually
married and has 4 kids. Oh.
Yep. And people would always ask me, they're like, oh, are you out of high school or college? Or I'm like, no, I have 4 kids. So I kind of decided to try a beard and see if that makes me look a little older. And then I was going to get rid of it. And then the wife's like, I kind of like that. So
there you go.
So I'm sticking with it for now.
The only thing I got is people suggested I get a beard just to hide some of my ugly face.
Yeah.
So yeah, but just a point of trivia here is that I started programming Clip when Dave was born, the day after Davey was born. And so I still call him Davey, even though, how old are you? You don't even know. You're 30-something years old. So that's how old
30,
Clip is. So
34. Yep.
All right. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and start. A couple things to point out. So one is you can always click on this new button in the top right-hand corner, and that will pull up an article that shows us kind of a list of things that we've been adding into CLIPItc. So if you want to see that, that goes, I think, all the way back to January currently. And then another thing to note is just that often these things will have permissions on them. So if you want to use something here, you may want to double check your permission. So you can open up your permission and then check the boxes for the stuff that you want to allow your employees to use.
So if something doesn't show up that we talk about as being brand new and you're like, no, I don't see it on my copy. Well, everybody's running the same code, so it's got to be there. So, but the answer might be you just haven't given yourself or somebody else permission.
Yep.
We have to default our permissions to not, because we don't want to allow by default everybody to do everything. So you have to go in there and actually decide if you want to allow an employee to be able to do something.
Correct. So the first thing that we'll look at today is credit memos. So we've been doing some work on credit memos, have a little bit more that we want to do specifically with how they show on our reports now. But we've got credit memos inside of Clip. Basically, that's if you did a service and you want to kind of credit it back to the customer and just let the customer know, hey, I know we made a mistake, we cut it too short or something. I'm not going to charge you for that one. So now if you need to handle a situation like that in CLIPitc, you can. And it'll also sync with QuickBooks if you've got QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online. So you really just fill in the customer, the date that you want it to show for, the dollar amount that the credit memo is for, and then which job it's attached to. That'll be for reporting later. And then the item that you want it to apply to. Click on process. It'll go ahead and create that for that customer. And it will go ahead and auto apply it. But if you want to change which invoice it's applied to or something, you can do that. So we'll go ahead and open up this customer, roll over to the invoices section. You'll see here's the credit memo, and then here's the payment that came from that credit memo. So if I want to, I can apply the credit from it. And this one, you can see it's applied. $1 is applied. This is the only outstanding invoice that this customer has, I believe. So yeah, that's credit memos. They also show up inside of history. So you'll see the payment received. It creates basically a payment type record for that customer. And we'll probably be changing this description a little bit just to make it a little easier to see what it is. So a couple of things that we're still working on there, but credit memos are there, they work, and they sync with QuickBooks. So you can definitely start using those if you want to.
So we're replacing special invoices, aren't we?
Yeah, we've got application of payments. So now you can apply payments to different invoices if you want to inside of CLIPitc. And now we've got credit memos. So it kind of gives us pretty similar functionality, very basic, but similar functionality to the special invoices module that was in CLIPitc. And I think other versions too before that.
Yep.
So another thing that we've added is some defaults for properties. So if you want to, you can go to properties, more property options, and then select a default crew. If you leave it empty, it'll just use whatever crew is in the default job when you're adding a job, whichever default crew is in the pattern job when you're adding a job. So if I want this particular property to always be assigned to crew 3 when I first create a job, I can set it here. Also, I can set the job area default too. And then those will get applied as I'm adding
Oh, I love that, don't you?
yeah. Oh no.
I was going to say
adding
that's
a pattern job.
that property information is exactly the same as it was for CLIPitc. You have property info. If you filled in those defaults, then when you added a pattern job, it would override whatever was in the pattern with whatever's there. So
yep.
Those of you
that was a cool thing that happened in XE, and we had a request from a couple people to add that into CLIPitc. There's also we're thinking forward at the same time. And there's some things that I'd like to do in the future with like online quoting and stuff, and having default crews and areas and stuff is going to make that a lot easier in the future. So often in CLIPitc, we're kind of building towards something, not just building small standalone features, but a lot of it is going towards future work that we're going to do in the future. Little redundant there.
Future work in the future. There you go.
Future work in the future. All right. Another thing that we did is we've added some fields to the to-do email. So now if you go into a to-do, click this email CMS, we've got a couple more things that'll be included in that email. One thing is actually we corrected a customer number. So this was using kind of a back-end program ID. So we changed that to make sure that it's using the customer account number. We've added the sent by email address, made that hyperlink so you can click on it if you want to. And then we added also the customer email. So if you want to email the customer or you want to email the person that sent this CMS to you, you can do either one of those. A little bit easier now. And along those same lines with to-dos, we updated the reminders on the dashboard to have the customer account number and then the customer display name. So just makes it a little bit more clear. Before, I think it was display name and then the customer account number. So that was a little confusing, just cleaning that up. We did a few different small enhancements like that around CMS. Another thing that we've changed is the customer account notes section. Got to log back in. I think I'm running to 2 devices right now. So I've got an iPad in the wings ready to go, getting auto logged in. So we've got the customer account notes. We moved that section to the bottom and gave it a lot bigger box. So now you'll be able to include more right on the front page. Again, still, if you click the edit, you can get a nice big box for making some larger changes and stuff in there. But now you've got more space on that front screen, so that should help a lot with seeing that and using it. We had some changes that we made for the program fee. The program fee is actually something around our credit card. So if you're using CLIPitc for credit cards, you can charge a program fee. And that you set that up under, I believe it's company info. Yep. So then set your CLIPitc system. Then your rate will be set as whatever it costs you to process a credit card. This is just a test copy. And then you can choose what you want that program fee. It'll be that 4% to be added to for your customers. So if you put inside of your documentation, hey, if you want to, you can pay this online, but we'll charge you a 4% convenience fee. In CLIPITc, you can set that up here. And we enhanced how that goes down to QuickBooks Desktop. So it'll actually create the invoice and then I think update the invoice with the program fee amount and then send the payment over with the program fee amount included.
Just one small thing that I think they're very, very picky. These banks are very picky about what terms we use. And I don't think we can call it convenience. We have to call it a program fee.
Yeah, so if you look anywhere inside of CLIPITc, it's called program fee. And you've probably seen it as convenience fee. I think maybe the government is allowed to do that, but a lot of other people aren't allowed to call it that. So that's why you'll see that language inside of CLIPITc, just kind of at one of those weird rules. So it's something that we wanted to make sure that you guys had the option to do that if you wanted to offset that cost. But actually, I'd say my recommendation for business practice is just go ahead and increase your prices a little bit next season, and try and get people to pay online. There's a lot of advantages, collections, stuff like that, and yeah. Another thing that we're working on right now is being able to collect credit card payments from the mobile app. And then something that we added just a little bit ago was the anonymous payment link. So now you can use that on your website, stick a link to this on your website or iframe it, and then take payments, match them up after the fact to the customers that they belong to. It'd be under the match anonymous payment section. So then if you can, we'll suggest a match, but then you can change it. So if you want to see more on that one, we've got the new features webinars, I think, on YouTube. So if you go back to the one where we covered that, you'll see that info. Or we've got help articles and stuff that go over that too. But yeah, this year we've done some cool things with credit cards and keep on doing more cool things. So, all right. Another change that we made is to go ahead and remove rounds from the workbank if you put a program on hold. That's kind of a small change. People would activate rounds like 30 or 60 days before, then put a program on hold, and then the round would still be there because it's waiting to be done. So we made it so that those will automatically get removed from the workbank once you change the status to on hold. Typically with jobs, you know, a customer calls, they say, hey, can you cancel after this next cut? You might go ahead and finish the cut even though the job's on hold. But with rounds, people tend to pull them a lot earlier. So that made a lot of sense to do that. Another small job scheduling change is the do with jobs. So now if you have a job that is a do with job, it's gonna, when it pulls into the workbank, it's gonna use the next visit date from the master job. So that would be this next visit date. Before it was just pulling in with today's date. It makes a little bit more sense if we pull it in with the same date as the job that it's kind of scheduling with. So just a small change there that we made. All right, now let's pop over to the iPad. Give me just a second while I try and find my Zoom controls.
So we're getting more and more companies that are coming up from XE onto ITC. So some of these little details in the background that meant a lot to somebody, they were sort of like running their life off from this particular little tiny feature in XE. And so we put those in, we'll make sure that we take care of that as it comes in. So again, we're customer driven. We always have been. That's how CLIP has grown for the last 30 some years, and we'll continue to do so. And that's what we're looking at. Whole thing is to try to get your company to run more automatically all the time, so that you have less and less time spent in the office, less and less people to pay to do office work and stuff that doesn't need to be done, and better information. So as Dave's about to demonstrate with the iPad and stuff, we expect that each crew, at least each crew, will have an iPad or something like that, where they're going to be recording their work as they go, so that all you have to do is just review it and say, yep, I'm going with it. And it's all taken care of. And of course, the cool thing is it is completely online. So you can see it from anywhere. You can be back at the home or anyplace else. There's no reason to actually be tied to anything, because it's completely up there in the cloud. You don't have to worry about updates. You don't have to worry about backups. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And your customers can pay online. So it takes all of that away from you. Like I've said before, the way you all deal with us and pay for your subscription to CLIP is the same thing. We don't have anybody that's taking checks or taking payments or entering that information. You do it. We let the customer do it themselves. You add and delete users, do whatever it is that you need from the website. And that's what we foresee you being able to do with CLIP ITC. All right, so show us the iPad. What's been going on?
All right, cool. So this is iPad, Android, and Apple phones. On all of those, you'll see this particular change. So now you'll be able to start a job, and then in the middle of the job, so you show up to a job, you hit start, and then you walk out and you see, oh man, they already cut the grass or something. So now you can click the more button, Sorry. My iPad is a little bit goofy right now. So I think I need to clean the screen or something. So let's try that again. So start the job, hit more, and then we can skip job now. So it used to be that you needed to skip the job before or undo your finish before you could skip the job. So now you can do it right from here. So we'll go ahead and just shove this 3 days forward, put in our notes and skip it. Another thing that you'll be able to do now is you can group jobs. So once you get towards the end of the season, or if you're at the beginning of the season, there's a bunch of jobs that don't actually need to be done. You can start them and skip them. And then it'll warn you, hey, this is a group job. You've got a bunch of jobs here. Are you sure? So we'll say yes, push those forward, and good to go. All right. So a couple things around there that just help you do those things faster. And then under the customer section, we've finished up the split screen section for iPad. Let me grab a customer that's got some invoices. So now we've got a nice split screen view for the iPad. So we had the invoice section here before, but it makes it a little bit easier to use on an iPad. So now you can work on both sides and be able to make changes and stuff here. Again, you can delete invoices from here, email them, add a payment. So if somebody pays you in the field, so they hand you a check or cash, you can go ahead and record that while you're in the field. The more you can do right when it happens, I think the better, especially if you're owner operator. The less you have to do when you get back to the office, the better, I think. Less tends to get missed if you're correcting and recording stuff as you're going.
All this has permissions on it, so it's not
that's
like
correct.
It's not like you're allowing everybody to go ahead and delete invoices and do all that kind of stuff. But that would be somebody in administration that would be able to do that. But you decide how much each of the users are allowed to do.
Yep. Yeah, so you'll see invoices on here, see that people haven't paid you, stuff like that. You can see in this invoice section. Something worth noting is that we've got the job section done, and we actually have one more release coming. Might be kind of between this one and the next webinar. So I'll just mention a couple of things that are coming. So inside of the job section, you'll be able to add job for today, and that'll just go ahead and push it to the workbank, no matter what the scheduling and stuff is set up for. So if a customer asks you to do a service or something while you're on site, you can go grab that service, just click add, and add it from here, or make some adjustments and then add it. So that'll be under the schedule section. That'll be coming. And then we're working on Touch ID and Face ID for the Apple devices, not for Android yet. Still doing some work and research on the Android side, but the Apple stuff should be coming pretty soon. You might see an update in the next few days for that. And then another thing that we've done is, as we've been getting these customer sections done, we've been working on linking these up to the daily section. So right now, if you want to get to a customer real quick, make a change there, from the daily section, you can click this link, takes you right to the customer, and then you can make your changes. So we're adding one for job. So you'll be able to click the link for the job and then get right to the job if you need to make some changes, put the job on hold. If the customer is asking you to end for the season or something like that, you'll be able to get there a lot faster.
So that's for those of you who use XE, that would be an F in the record work screen. For file maintenance, brings you right to it.
Yeah,
and
actually.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Coming around full circle, kind of.
Yeah. And
Cool.
then and I forget to get to the job details. I think it's a D, I think, to get to job details. Could be a J. I'm forgetting my hotkeys. It's been a while since I was in there, but we have one. It also takes you into, or maybe it's an E for edit, I think. It'll take you right into the job details, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'll mention one other thing, just because I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, you look really excited. You look so enthused, Dave.
Hey, this is my excited face. Everybody's is different. This is mine.
All right.
So if you go to the daily section, and again, I'm working between these two devices with the same account. So if you go to the daily section, get work, we've got an option now. It doesn't work quite yet, but remove unpaid work. We'll probably cover it in the next one. But that'll allow you to remove work for customers, but also it'll give you the option to email them. So if you look, there'll be a email in here that you can set up that just says, hey, and includes some links and stuff for them to pay. So if somebody's not paying you for service, you can remove them from your schedule, send them an email saying, hey, pay me, and include a payment link for them. So
Cool.
that'll be pretty neat.
So that's also XE had something like that for don't include overdue work in the route sheet. So that's what that is, except for that XE could never send an email that said, hey, pay us, and here's where it is.
Right.
And of course, because we're in the cloud, because you're using CLIPitc, then all that stuff works together and it works very quickly and take care of it. I had that problem happen to me at my residence just a few weeks ago. I got a big yellow notice on my trash can saying, you haven't paid us since January. We're suspending your service. I'm like, thanks a lot. Right before I go out on vacation, I got a big trash can full of trash. I called them up, and it turned out that because we have two accounts, one for the office and one for the house, they had been applying all the money to the wrong account. And
you're way overpaid
okay
on the one account.
Well,
way under
yeah,
on the other.
way overpaid on the one account by the same amount that they were underpaid on my residence. And no, I wasn't using the business to pay for it. But that kind of thing, it gets eliminated when the system itself is sending the payment information saying pay here.
Yeah.
And then it gets applied correctly.
I'll say the bigger problem that you've had, maybe it wasn't very painful to you, but there was a trash company a long time ago that you were working with, not working with, but they were picking up your trash for you, and they forgot to bill you for about 5 years.
I think it was like 3 to 5 years. And the funny part is when I first signed up with them, I said, I have software that can help you with this. And they're like, we don't need software. And so 3 or 5 years later, they sent us a very apologetic, I'm sorry, we haven't charged you this whole time. You owe us $500 and some odd. If you need to make it in payments, we understand. And I thought, yeah, you said you didn't need software. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of companies just change. I'm sure a lot of customers just change companies at that point. Why pay $500? Go to a different one. Go to a competitor.
Yeah, some people might do that. And the more that we can kind of automate and handle in the normal process of business, I think the better. So especially collections, it's something that's pretty easy to miss until you get to the very end of the year. And then you're looking at, losing a lot of money. And like you said, customers just going to a different provider because if they're dishonest. So.
And then you lost all of that profit.
Right.
Yeah.
Did all the
probably
work,
for 100 other customers,
Yep.
Because if your profit is 10 or 12%, I have an article I wrote about that. If your profit is 10 or 12% and you lose 2 or 3 customers, that's actually taking the profit away from 100 other ones or something like that. I forget what the number is, but math is interesting.
Yeah. Don't make your good customers pay for your bad customers' mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
So good. Excellent. Anything else?
That's it for now. So I'm happy to be back in the office. Vacation was good, but happy to be back in the office. Still feel like I'm catching up a little bit, But it's good. Everybody getting back into routine, going back to school. Probably the same for you guys too.
Yep.
Yep.
It's working out. It's working out well, though. I like to see that slow and steady wins the race every time, doesn't it?
Yep.
And that's what we're doing is we're steadily working on CLIPITc every single day. We've been doing it for the last probably 10 years. And it's time. It's time for people to start getting on it, which is what we've been talking about. On the other hand, we're going to have another meeting for anybody who's in XC, which probably shouldn't be on this call. If you're still in XC, you don't, well, it's still good for you to know this stuff, but we're going to have another meeting next week on that. Just talking about getting out of Fox Pro and coming up into the 21st century. So if you want an invitation to that and you haven't gotten one, just send us an email at support@clip.com or Jacob R@clip.com, and we'll send you an invite right away and get you in on that. So Jacob, anything else?
I think that's it. Just a reminder, all the webinars are going to be recorded, put on our YouTube channel. So if you see something you want to go over again, want some training on, let us know. We're happy to get that scheduled. Take care of you.
Okay. And let's move towards more automation all the time. Thank you very much. Your success is our passion, and we want you to be the most successful landscapers out there in your area. So let us know what we can do for you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for being a part of this.